No, the song you should be singing, Ernie. We're winning right now, and my team's winning right now. I should get a trophy, so we're winning right now.
What trophy?
Agent Sasko, great song.
Yeah, but
and it's a great evening.
What trophy are you getting?
I said we should get a trophy. If you listen, if you know the tune, Ernie, and you should know the tune.
Yeah.
You great broadcaster of all times.
Well,
it doesn't say you really need to have a trophy. It says we should get a trophy.
Yeah.
And Klopp should get a trophy for going on a mad march and just storming his way up the table to quiet down your argument about the worst defense of a Premiership. And we can just dispel that myth because Man United was worse. Under the great Ferguson, won the title and then finish 8th. Don't talk to me, son.
What are you talking about? Where'd you get that information from now?
So what? Because it's facts. I'm giving you facts. You want facts? Leicester won the Premiership and they went down the table.
Yeah.
Chelsea won the Premiership and they went down the table. And you're still going to give this energy about we are the worst.
Liverpool was coming to dominate for the next decade.
That's
right?
They
pulled back.
That's just pop talk. That's pop talk.
Listen, all will be revealed on Sunday. You just hope to God that you get the right result against Crystal Palace at Anfield on Sunday.
Ernie.
Wish. Because if you don't, you're going to have to retire from the fixture list.
You know when we spoke earlier on in the week, I said, Ernie, what should we call the show? And he was like, the rice, it's the rice, brother. The rice. It should have been called Judgement Day.
True.
Judgment Day.
A Judgment Day Sunday, yeah.
It's a big judgment. Listen, if Liverpool don't get in the top 4, judgment.
I'm telling you.
There's more judgment in that than a Capleton song. That's gonna be judgment. That's gonna be judgment.
I mean, when we look at the permutations for Sunday, I mean, you know, if Liverpool draw and Chelsea draw, Leicester lose, they're out of it. And Leicester win, who goes out? Liverpool dead, isn't it? Have they got a better goal difference than Chelsea?
Pardon?
Have they got a better goal difference than Chelsea? Could they sneak in goal difference-wise?
No, they can only beat Liverpool on goal difference if they thump up, which could be a possibility. They thump up Spurs, like absolutely thump Spurs. And Liverpool lose and win at Crystal Palace, but Leicester beat them by something like 7 goals. And that could happen because Spurs can be Spursy, innit?
yeah, you know what I mean. But they haven't got away really.
Yeah, chances are that won't happen. I'll give you my thoughts about the top 3, how I think the game's going. I'm sure everybody else is gonna weigh in because it's Friday night. It's 9 p.m. and we're live. Fix the list.
I've shared it, Rob. I've
shared it.
Yep, I've shared it. Have you shared?
No, I haven't. I can't believe no fuss, no fight, no fussing and fighting, no squabbling. This man's shared it. Jeez. You're doing well, son. You're doing well. You're doing well. I think I'll do it at the same time. Just scribble across the page, people. You remember, you can watch the show. And Ernie, you heard it live. You was on the phone. You heard it live. Hey, Robbo, is that Yanga TV? Every Saturday morning.
Every Saturday. Yeah. I noticed you got your little what's his name? The fastest runner in the world all over social media. Every time I switch on social media, I see, oh man.
Well,
champ.
I was saying to the champ, I said to the champ, look, man, You're the champ and we love you. Fastest man in the world, Usain Bolt. But you can't be dabbling in this music business and not have the right focus and direction. You need to gun down the place the right way. He said, well, Amedo, me say you need to talk. And we had him all over social media. He's doing a lot more interviews about his music escapade. So that's kind of, that's a good plus. That's a good plus. I like that. I do. Yeah. And speaking of social media, Ernie, I notice you're going hard on the social media. Seem to be cussing everybody apart from your own manager. You're going to be second in the league, which is, you finally you woke up that you're going to be second in the league. But you're not a happy chap. You're not a happy chap. Maguire, next season. Is he going to be your manager? I think Ernie's frozen. I think he's done a Walt Disney. He's done a Frozen. People, I think Ernie's frozen. I wonder if we can keep him like that for the rest of the show. That'd be amazing. Keep him frozen. Yeah, so Ernie was all over social media, talking his man. He almost has a love and hate relationship with Manchester United. He's happy one week, and on the other hand, he's not happy. Cavani scores, he's happy again, and then he's not happy. And I think that's how it is for most of you Manchester United fans out there. You're happy, like, okay, we're second, but you're not happy. And you've got a big game coming up against Villarreal. And anyway, I predicted that you will win the match. But I know you're not happy. I know you wish that you were right there at the top, winning the league again. But it ain't going to happen under Ole, Ole, Ole. We got guests on the show today. We have the original fireman, Troy Townsend, coming through today. And super fans. It's a super fan frenzy tonight. I'm not sure if we got any Liverpool super fans. I'm not sure if we have any. Actually, we have got a Manchester United super fan. And I believe today, because they're going on with big things, I believe we've got West Ham super fans in the house. And maybe by the end of the night, we can find out what really is the West Ham way. I don't think there is a way, because I checked Waze, I checked Google Map. There is no such thing called the West Ham way. But maybe we find out a little bit later what is the West Ham way. Rodney Hines is going to be joining us, chief sports writer from The Voice newspaper. Most of the time, this show is kind of led with a lot of, I'm not ashamed to say, we're biased. I'm very biased. I'm biased. I'm biased, no ras. I'm so biased. I am so biased. I'm biased. I'm even blanking out guess who in the comments. That's how biased I am. So Rodney Hines will be joining us and bringing some of the, how would we say, sense and sensibility to show, the most sensible pundit we have on the show. Not too sure if Eddie Ness is going to be joining us. Where did you go? No, not one of them toilet breaks again.
Let me tell you something. You see, the worst thing that's happened in this country is Boris follow that idiot Trump and get Huawei, out of supplying the 5G because you see, anytime the weather goes funky, people internet just pop down, rude boy. I'm telling you.
Hey, are you sure you're on 5G or are you still on 2G, Ernie? Talk the truth.
No, I'm on 5.5. I got that. Remember, you line me up with two little pieces of equipment, so I should be on 5.5G.
Yeah, you should be on 6 with those two equipments. Them equipments are firing. But yeah, it's Huawei.
Good evening, Ali Abdullah. My man Ali Abdullah from over in Camden, chief. Well, I wouldn't say that. No, I'm not going to say that. I was going to say chief rabbi. I'm 5.5, you know.
Easy, and it's not the day to go. It's not the day to go there, man. Hey, shout to everybody that's out there that was on the Ramadan. Was it last week or the week before last?
Last week it ended, didn't it? Ramadan.
Was it last week, man. Yeah. I saw those people out there who was observing it, holding and as we would say, holding a firm meditation.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but
salute
that meditation is a serious meditation, Robert. I could not go without anything from 6 in the morning till 8 o'clock in the night. Go without anything. I have to rate them, man. They're serious.
You like your crumpets, don't you, in the morning, don't you? You like your crumpets.
That's just the start of it, bruv. Nothing like a bit of crumpet and some football. Yeah, I know.
You're like him crumpet and football.
You're only talking about yourself. But you want to bring me in on the argument. You know what I'm saying?
Actually, I heard you drift over there, and I thought you would I thought this was going to be a Dwight York special tonight.
Who was the
Let's not go there.
My man was at Aldi. I was talking to Robbo, and he was at Aldi, and I heard a girl in the background going, "You're Robbo Ranks, isn't it?" And he was going, and you are Robbo Ranks, isn't it? Robbo said, "I'm so and so's sister. You are Robbo Ranks."
yeah, but I'm glad you noticed how shy and retiring I was.
Oh yeah. All right. Yeah.
Listen, I only went in to get a slice and a crumpet, and some jam. Yeah, I was trying to go about my business, but that's how it is, man. So thanks to everybody that do recognize us. We deep down we do like it. We do like the fact that you recognize us, and I hope that you recognize us for what we do. That's the most part. If you recognize us for what we do, salute back to you, and don't ever feel afraid to come and say hello to me when I'm at the tills in Aldi's or Lidl's, or if Daddy you see him with a packet of crumpets in his hand, just say hello to the brother. He loves it.
And I tell you what, I'd love you if you paid for it. That would be even better. So, hey, I've been somewhere before, and someone's come over to me and said, "Your Daddy Ernie in it?" I said, "Yeah." He said, hold on. I'm going to buy you a drink. He come back with a bottle of brandy, A bottle of brandy. I said, I think you don't need to do it. It's a boss. Take the brandy. So I just took
speaking of brandy,
I'm not drinking. I can't drink, Robbo. I can't drink. Drink.
Listen,
I've got water.
These guys are big up. I'm going to give these guys a big up.
Oh, yeah, I saw that as well. They sent you some streaming things.
So we done the 2 million. We done the 2 million streams of the radio show. And the achievement is, as you know, Ernie, when they say you can't, you just say, we can. We can. And when they say we have the best, we said keep the best. Yeah. We are the rest. And their listeners followed the show, followed the program, and we just hit 2 million show plays. 2 million. And if you ask the others, show me what you got, son. Show me your needles. There's nothing to show. So I want to say shouts going out to the Duppy Shark family. They've got a rum which you can buy all over. I know we're used to certain types of brands, but it's a new brand to the market because it's a mix between Jamaican and Barbados. Get your head around that. It's called Duppy Shark, and they recognize the 2 million streams, and they presented me with a bottle called it's called Duppy Sheer. Sorry. So there you go. They said, Robbo, have the 2 milli share. So I'll save you a glass when you come around, Ernie.
Well,
I can't share it with 2 million people, but I'll share it with you.
Super Jam share.
Yeah, I think that's coming, Ernie. Come on, man.
You know what I mean?
Come on, come down from British Airways, man. Calm down. So big up Duppy Share. If you get a chance to check it out, it's a blend of Jamaican and Barbados rum. That must be crazy. I can't wait to taste it. Yeah, Thank you.
Right. Save me some of that. Anyway, back at hand now. I mean, there's a lot of things going on, right? Rob, I don't know if Rod's anywhere, but Tammy Abrahams looked like he's going to leave Chelsea. Tammy
Abraham's girl is making him leave Chelsea. Did you see her post?
Nah, Tammy scored more goals than everybody else. I don't know what the manager's playing at.
She posted it all over social media Saturday night. And I was like, listen, I understand you have your missus or your other half supporting what you do. But can you imagine, Ernie, something happens at your workplace and then your woman goes on social media and she cusses the manager. Like,
the manager's an idiot. Don't know what he's doing.
So my good friend Security Bill said, listen, the only person that's prospering out of that is Tammy's agent. He's going to have a few more zeros behind his contract because it's not going to help the relationship. And I understand, but when you go out and post comments like that, it doesn't help anyone.
It doesn't help.
Yeah, so he must have saw the comments because all Tunkle or Tinkle, Tunkush, Tunchi was on social media like that, flicking through on a Saturday night going, yeah, you don't know, lost the FA Cup. Oh, what is? He went on Instagram. He saw Tammy Abraham's woman just kicking up a stink on there, and
But
he was
it come
like,
down quickly though. She took
it down the following morning. So yeah,
Gifford
crazy.
says you sound like her. You know Gifford, innit?
But yeah, I know Gifford. Oh, you know her too, then, Gifford. Okay, all right. Easy, Uncle Gifford.
You know that. So, and then Nuno's left. Wolves. He's leaving at the end of the season. We're gonna have a little talk about that because I think it's looking ominous, isn't it? Sugar Strain is begging to get out of Tottenham now. That will be.
But the funny thing is, I remember having this conversation, and I am going to bring it up with our learned colleague, the voice of reason. I said that would be a good move. Do you remember we had the conversation? We said that Nuno Espirito Santos at Tottenham, and Rodney Hines, and respect to Rodney was like, nah, I can't see that happening. It wouldn't be the proper fit. And look, the rumor mill has already started, and I think it's a strong rumor. I think there's a massive possibility he goes there, bro.
Yes, I do as well. I can see him doing very well there as well, but I don't think Harry Strain will be hanging around really and truly to see that come to fruition.
Sugar leg cane.
You know?
Yeah.
No,
hard. Must be hard.
United. He's not going to United. We're not paying the money that Levy's going to want for him to come to United.
Come on, man! It's Man United, man. You lot are the wallet of the world, man. I mean,
the last big transfer we had. We were shafted, right? We bought the Titanic.
Say that again, so we can clip that. Say that again.
The last big money transfer.
Screenshot this, people.
We were shafted. We got the Titanic. And Leicester built their training ground from the money that they got and sold us the Titanic. We were shafted. So we don't want another one of that with Sugar Stream. Or whatever.
Sugar Stream. Sugar Cane. But Ernie, come on. There's a massive difference between Harry Maguire, the quality of Harry Maguire as a defender, and the quality of Harry Kane. Now, Maguire cost you what? Nearly 80 bags? 80 million. Now, if you put an extra 40, you get a top striker, finishes easily 20 goals a season. He eats his dinner.
Not worth
Harry eats his dinner. Harry eating food. Harry is rude.
I don't care what dinner he's eating, right? He ain't eating rice and peas, that's for sure, right? So
that'd be Rashford.
I don't care. 80 million for Sugar Strain, I'll take him all day long. 80 mil, I'll take him all day. Anything more than that, I don't even want to see him walking anywhere near Old Trafford.
But Ernie, you're talking like it's your money, though, bro. It's not your money. Who cares?
No,
Let him spend the money.
I'm a fan.
You get Harry Kane in, you win the league, bro.
All right, well, Robert will be on later, and I'll hear what Robert's got to say. But we got.
I know Robert White's got sense. He knows what I'm talking about. Just take it and win the league, son.
Okay, all right. Well, I don't think so. We got Ben Roy. Oh yeah, we're gonna have him on later on. Oh, Ben Roy. Oh yeah, definitely.
Ben Roy was driving me around the bend, and the show didn't even start. What?
I think we better bring him on about 5 to 11.
I think you might as well bring him. No, I think you bring him on like 2 minutes to 11. Ben Roy was going hard. Easy, Ben Roy. Ace. Ben Roy.
You know, Rod is here.
The voice is reasoning in the building.
Yeah, let's get him in and let's see what he's saying. I know he'll be said for a while regarding Maguire. Welcome to Master Blaster.
Master Blaster's on you, son.
Look at Master Blaster 205, you know, because he don't seem like he's sane. You know what I mean? Oh, his junior, his son.
Master Blaster is.
Have we got something for Rodney? Something for.
I think we have.
Without Maguire. Yes, I've seen that, Eddie. I have taken note of that, Eddie. I have taken note of that. Eddie the humble one. Have we got something for Rod?
Do we?
I don't know. All right, we'll just bring him in then.
Bring in the man. Just bring in the man. Bring in the man. Bring in the
voice, the man of reasoning. Sensibility is his name. His name is Rodney. Rodney. And he is. Yep.
Is that the rods?
Listen,
The
darling.
rod of correction. The rod of correction.
Easy,
Rod.
easy.
Rod of correction.
Good evening, gents. Good evening.
Good evening, Rodney. How was the week? How's your week been? And can you correct Ernie on his talk earlier on about
Which
sugarcane? The sugarcane legs. We don't want him. We don't want him.
Listen, sugarcane could be the difference between Man United or anybody winning the league. So, how you can just dismiss the best goal scorer in Europe, bar none, I don't know.
No, Rod, I'm not dismissing him. What I'm saying, I'm not willing for Manchester United to pay 150 million for him.
Your money, Ernie.
It's what?
It's not your money.
Bruv, listen, they've already wasted 80 mil and come back and raise the next 150 mil. I don't business. He's not worth more than 80 million. If he was just an ordinary striker, he weren't English, right? He was an ordinary striker. But because he's English and they need somebody to fly the flag, oh, Britannia, all the way. And all that business there, they hype him up, right? Like they hype up Shearer and Gascoigne and with the other one, Rooney, who escaped by the
Michael Owens.
Michael Owen, all them Monday. You know the story about Michael Owen when he's at Real Madrid, innit? Allegedly.
What was the story? Tell us.
When they were playing Keep It Up in the dressing room, and every time it got to him, it went on the floor. He couldn't keep it up.
Yes, because he don't buy the crumpets like you, Ernie. You buy crumpets. He's not buying the right crumpets, son.
Yeah, I've got to say respect to Rodney because he did warn us about Yuri Tillman. What a strike on Saturday.
Come on, man, the voice of reasoning. Tell us, how did you predict that one? How did you predict that Yuri was going to be a fury?
He's been a good player for Leicester for a little while now, you know. And I just thought that at 23, 24, he's destined for bigger and better things. And I say that with all due respect to Leicester. But yeah, he's been a good player for a while. And, you know, when he smacked that 30-yarder in last week, you know what I mean? He just added some zeros to his transfer fee. But well done to Leicester. I think I said it last week as well. Most neutrals would have wanted Leicester to win that.
Yes.
Job done.
Yeah, but we couldn't see past Chelsea.
But once again, dare I mention the Super League, right? Who needs it? And if anything, you probably take out an Arsenal or Tottenham and stick Leicester in there because they've won the league in 2016. They've won an FA Cup now. They've got some good backing. I said it last week. They're arguably the best run club in the country, up against one of the richest. It was a real David and Goliath last week, and they come out top. That said, for me, Chelsea didn't turn up. In terms of the riches that they have and all the talent they have. But before we go on to that, Schmeichel's couple of saves as well.
Yeah.
Last week. I mean, if Tielemans' goal swung it, Schmeichel's one-handed save to just after that goal
from
Mount. Something special. Absolutely special. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well done to Leicester. I mean, we had a Leicester fan on last week, didn't we? And he was quite confident.
Yes.
He was very confident, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys. Where do you think that game was won? I know it was 1-0 in the goal, but I thought Ndidi and Tielemans were more than a match for Kante and Jorginho.
Well, the boy you filled in for Evans at the back there, when Evans went on I thought, oh my God, they're going to get mullered. And they shifted, what was his name?
Fofana.
To Fofana into the centre of defence. He was immense in there.
He's been immense all season, really.
But he wasn't playing centre half, was he?
No, he's been playing centre half. He's been playing centre half.
He's never normally in the middle because Evans is normally in the middle.
Yes.
He's normally right of the three, but he's only about 23 himself, if that.
Yeah, when Shayansu was out for 3 months, he covered for Shayansu. And the game where I remember the game where they snuffed out Liverpool. He was a monster in that game. I was like, I'll have him.
We're obviously going to talk about top 4 opportunities and all that. But if Leicester were to miss out on Champions League for the second successive season, by the way, having been there or thereabouts for most of it, they've actually got a tangible trophy. Come on. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's not a Kleenex moment where they're going to start balling, are they? So well done to Leicester.
Yeah, it's not the Audi Cup, is it?
Nah, it's a tangible trophy.
Yeah.
Arsenal have been telling us that for years. Isn't that right, Rodney? You've been saying that for years.
I've said this to you on this forum that at Arsenal's level, that is what they can win, and they have done over a period of time. They're not going to win the.
So we take it all back. Arsenal, you're my team, man. We take it all back. What Arsenal's done has been immense. Then,
yeah, winning it for how many seasons? Running? Yeah, it's been immense. Definitely. So somebody said on there that I'm not saying. I think people's reading me wrong.
They're not, Ernie. You're very straight.
Saying that Sugar Strain, right, isn't a top striker. He's a top striker. He's just not worth the money that Daniel Levy is going to want people to pay for him. That is what I'm saying, right? I don't mind him coming to United for 80 mil or push the boat out maybe 90 a stroke. But 150 is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, but who would you want? Who would you want? Wouldn't it be right and correct for Manchester United to employ, as a big club, the biggest club in the world, to have the most prolific striker in Europe at the top of the pitch? Wouldn't that make sense?
No, well, right. The top striker.
What's money got to do with it?
We need the top striker. What is his name? Agalan. He's the man. 150
He's
million.
not the top striker in Europe.
Pardon?
He's not the top striker.
If you're buying Haaland, you're only buying potential.
Well, I agree, and he's young enough to fulfill that potential. Sugar Strain, we buy him for 150 million. We can't sell him on.
What do you want to sell him on for?
If you buy him for the money that Levy's obviously going to want, right? And he wins you a Champions League or he wins you a Premier League or both, what's the problem?
But he's got to win more than A. He's got to win more than A. He can't just win one. No, he's got to win more than
Ernie, what potential if he won you? What if he won you the Premiership 4 times in a row? Wouldn't you?
And I would say he's worth 150 mil. You know what I mean? You know, Rodney knows me. All this hype with these English players, Rodney knows me. All this hype, Royal Britannia, all the way. When they come up against the real deal, they're found wanting.
A bit like Rashford, right?
Rashford, he's a young. Rashford's got more skill than Sugar Strain. He might score more goals at the moment.
Rodney, correct the brother. I think he's been drinking some of the duppy shit.
What you telling me that he ain't got more skill than Sugar Strain?
Rashford can't talk to Harry Kane. No
skill
chance.
wise, of course he can.
I'm not talking about skill. It's not getting about skill. It's about winning.
Let's just look at the numbers.
Rashford,
the numbers don't lie, Ernie.
Rashford has got trophies.
Agree. There you go. Can't disagree with that. He's got.
And that's what Harry Kane's coming for. He's coming for some of those lovely trophies.
No, he could go Man City. I don't want him at Old Trafford for 150 million.
If he goes to Man City, though, he's going to hurt you, though, bro. If he goes to Man City, it's going to hurt you.
We got Uncle Eddie. I mean, let me hear what Uncle Eddie's saying. I think Uncle Eddie is about to join us. I hope his microphone ain't too loud. Uncle Eddie!
On your mic, turn down your mic, you turn it down.
What's he got on, a dressing gown?
What the hell's going on there? Ramadan was a couple of weeks. No, what go on? Come on, man. The man's coming here looking like who's the brother with the holy pad collar jacket? What name that? I can't remember the biblical name.
Joseph coats of many colours.
Yeah, man. What's the Joseph look for?
Red
What's
and yellow and pink and brown and blue. Can you hear me, right?
Yeah,
is it one of them color? Was it one of those colors day at the BBC? Just coming from the beach.
No, today there was one color at the BBC today. It was very dark. Because this is the worst day that they've had that I can remember. Falsifying documents and all kind of nonsense. Anyway,
we should.
You know you're not involved. Just let's clear it. And anyway, because we don't want to lose any listeners. He's a good one. He's a good one. He's one of the good ones down there.
I went there today. No, I went there today and I said, unless you sort it out, I'm not working there anymore. So listen, can I just say, greetings to you, my brothers, and parting is such sweet sorrow. I feel as though we're coming to the end, and maybe that's why Ernie's getting tired in his old age. You are guaranteed goal scorer, 20-25 goals a season, without a shadow of a doubt. Which team would turn that down? It's worth 100 million. We paid 80 million for the guy that you don't rate, and we've scored goals like water since he's been injured. So Come on, we have to call what we see. He's going to Man City. He's just said the player that he would most like to play with is Kevin De Bruyne. He said he's a wonderful player. Aguero's just gone, which is really interesting because Aguero's going to Barcelona, who got rid of Suarez, who's too old, and now lost the title, and then Aguero's going there. This game is truly mad.
Crazy.
But yeah, we would take sugarcane. Yeah.
For 150 mil, though, Eddie.
He's got 2 years left on his contract, so far as I've worked out. He's 28 years old. I would pay about 100 for him. We're going to get 20 million of that back. Who's the boy who's at West Ham now? Lingard. We're going to get some of that money back. It's a guarantee. De Gea's going to go. De Gea ain't staying there to play second fiddle to
I thought De Gea gets back in the team.
He's coming to Arsenal. Him.
He's coming home. He's an Arsenal fan, right?
Do you remember the stick that it would be lovely to get on this actually? Do you remember the stick their former captain got when he moved from Tottenham to Arsenal, singing songs about hanging him? I mean, he got a really, really tough time. I did feel it for him, bro.
Yeah,
Brother,
but I can't see Kane going to Arsenal. That just would not happen.
No, nobody's going there. You're not leaving Tottenham. Sol clearly had a dream and it turned into a nightmare. You should never. That's a difficult move to make. Although people have gone from Man United to Man City, people have gone from Liverpool to Everton, haven't they? So I don't know.
I thought there would be two teams in the running for Harry Kane. I thought Chelsea would be sniffing around really hard, but my money's still on. I'm sorry, Ernie. I think it's Man United, bro. I don't think it's Man City.
It will be his choice, and he has said he wants to go to Man City. And in order to bring him to Man United now, they'd have to get rid of someone.
Say that? Did he categorically say Man City?
Say that, but he's intimated that with a De Bruyne reference. But what I tell you who's probably important to this potential transfer to Man City is Kyle Walker. Yeah. Kyle Walker has left Tottenham
to win trophies.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I think there must be conversations there all the time. They're good friends. And I just want you to think about this for a minute. With the likes of Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, Gundogan, and the way that City play, can you not see Harry Kane scoring an awful lot of goals up there?
Bag of goals.
Stacks.
Bag of goals.
Do you know what I mean? I'm not being funny. I mean, United are also in the mix as well, the transfer, but they don't play. I mean, there still isn't that for me at Man United, that key midfielder that just sorts out those passes to Harry Kane.
I mean, you're right, but there are only 3 teams who've got the money to buy him.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell you what, I think City are favourites, and I know this is going to cause a bit of controversy. I think Chelsea must be second favourites because Chelsea, and I know the rivalry between Tottenham and Chelsea is horrible, but Chelsea will pay the money. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. Money. They'll pay 200 million.
Chelsea will pay the money, and guess what they'll do?
And the salary as well.
And they'll throw in Tammy Abrahams and his girl on Instagram. That's smash it. Tammy and his girl. That'd be it. Tammy goes to Tottenham, and they just take a little reduction, and there you go, done. Chelsea player.
No, I think Daniel Levy will make sure that the going rate and then some for Kane.
But it doesn't matter, brothers, because the big question of the week is who is in a worse position, Arsenal or Tottenham. And when you look at both of them, I think it's odds on now, that I'm going to have to deal with the chip. The Chipmunk looks like he's going to get top 4, because when you look at it, they look like that run. And then when you look at it, it also looks like Arsenal are a better bet. Tottenham are playing Leicester, aren't they? Arsenal playing Brighton. It looks to me they're 1 point behind Tottenham. It looks to me like Arsenal finish above Tottenham in the Premiership, which is awful for Tottenham.
I mean, the only difference is that Tottenham were top of the table. I think they beat Arsenal in the derby.
November they were topping it.
November, December time. Mourinho was there. Defensively, they were sound. Højbjerg and Sissoko were doing their thing in the middle of the park. I mean, Tottenham, with all due respect, have a forward line that's on a par with Liverpool on its day. Yeah. But they just didn't deliver. They just didn't.
Well, we talked about this. I'm sorry, I know that I'm repeating myself, but you can't lose, Van Dijk and carry on like nothing happened. You can't lose him and the other boy there. You can't lose them and then carry on. So I think if they get top 4, it's been a magnificent season for Liverpool.
And I think Klopp has said that. We said it would be one of his greatest achievements because, as you said, they lost their first choice centre-half pairing, Gomez and Van Dijk, which then meant that the Hendersons and the Fabinhos of this world had to step back into the back line. If anything, and I want to ask Robbo this, if anything, while we've got to take in the injuries, Robbo, I actually think that the front three, minus Salah, were actually less efficient this year, which exacerbated the problems.
100%, but it's been a knock-on. It's a knock-on. It's a knock-on effect. They're doing more work. They play usually up the pitch. They are the first line of defense. They shut down everything, and then they know if the ball gets beyond them, you just got that comfortability of those 3 workers, and we have actually 6.
Yeah.
So those guys are always there. You've got a Fabinho, you've got a Henderson, you've got a Milner, and all of a sudden you're taking out 2 main cogs. Apart from Wijnaldum, those 2 main cogs were playing centre half for nearly quarter of a season. But so
I don't want to pick on anyone, but I just think the likes of Mane and Firmino,
his game has suffered because of the work rate he's doing.
But they actually missed opportunities that normally they would have taken, in my opinion.
Rod, I watch them all the time. These guys, Salah missed stacks of chances.
Salah's still in there with the golden boot opportunity.
Yeah, no, but he misses a lot. He misses a lot of chances, and so does Mane. But this year, when you really need to win games, just haven't come up. They've just.
Well, no, don't do that. If you get top 4, you've had a brilliant season.
Absolutely.
You can't. I mean, this is a low scoring in terms of points. You're talking about 100 points in some years. This isn't a brilliant year in terms of points. So for you to come top, honestly, I believe it to be a magnificent season for Chelsea. Even if Chelsea do not win against Man City, if they come top 4, that's a good season and a final in 2 cups from where they were.
Well, Ed, it's Judgment Day. That's what it is on Sunday. It's Judgment Day. But imagine this scenario. I'll throw this one to Rodney. Tuchel has taken Chelsea to a cup final. He's picked on where Frank's left off. He's gone to a cup final. He's lost the cup final. He's sitting 3rd in the table. He could get top 4. Well done, Tuchel. He loses, slips out of top 4. He's lost then he goes to the Champions League, plays Man City, gets battered in the Champions League. Would you say it's time for him to?
I'll be honest with you, he needs a double now, and the double would be top 4
He's gone.
and the Champions League. What I looked at on Chelsea at the cup final when I was there last weekend, I actually saw a very tired looking Chelsea, in my opinion.
Rudders, you're normally the person who talks real sense, and you're the person who earns your living doing. But with all due respect to you, my brother, I love you. I went to school with you. Yeah. I helped you in your English exam. I love you. You understand that?
Hear this now.
But what you're saying doesn't make any sense. The 3rd and 4th in the Premiership were Leicester and Chelsea, right? They met in the final. So Chelsea missed a plethora, which Robbo means a lot, chances. And Leicester won. Yeah. The one where it really mattered was in the Premier League. And in the Premier League, Chelsea.
No, I take exception with that. If
FA Cup or top 4, which one do you think they won?
If Chelsea don't win the Champions League next week, and they've got a 50-50 chance, right? Yeah. That the chief man at Stamford Bridge is a ruthless guy.
Gunman. Okay? The gunman.
He will sack a man that's won a European Cup. Yeah?
Yeah.
He will sack a man that's European Cup. He may not see 4th place with all the money that he's pumped in to be good enough. Okay? He may not see Tuchel, who I think deserves another season at least, right? Might just be in a situation where top 4, if they get it, and lose the Champions League is not deemed as good enough.
No, because when he came, he was told top 4 was a minimum requirement, and if he gets top 4, you can't sack. You can't sack him because the players love him. The improvement. Remember, it's all got to be where they were with Frank and where they are now.
Ed, what if he loses to Aston Villa and slips out of the top 4?
That's
and
what
then
I'm
he
saying.
loses the Champions League.
Then there would be questions.
Questions.
And,
There'll be
the problem with that is it started because he took the mickey out of Arsenal. And he changed 8 players in the game against Arsenal as though Arsenal didn't matter, and Arsenal showed him that they do matter. That's what happened to him. And if he had got 1 point in that game, then this conversation would be null and void.
Of course, against Arsenal, and as you said, Ed, against Leicester, they were unfortunate. But how many of us have been unfortunate in this call with our respective teams during the course of the season? And I'm just really saying, the caveat that I'm saying is that I know who his governor is, and it's a guy called Abramovich. And sometimes your best is not deemed good enough with Abramovich. Yes, it would be stupid to tear up the script when a man has transformed a squad that Lampard had only got so far with. But we do know that at Stamford Bridge, stuff happens. Do you know what I mean? I think he deserves
but stuff is going to happen at Crystal Palace as well. And you better ask our next guest if he thinks his son is still going to have a job there.
Well, let me tell you something about Crystal Palace. Nobody won't go up there and take
Eddie, you missed the talk before the show. Big part. Fireman was on form.
I just want to get him warm. I don't want him coming on here soft.
Shall we bring him
before he comes on, let me just say one thing. I honestly believe that everybody's going to find out how good a manager Roy Hodgson was now. He's gone. Sometimes people know more about you in your absence. He kept them when he took over, they were bottom of the Premier League, you know, and they've been safe every year. He's been there with he even got Benteke to start scoring.
Yes. Benteke looked like £150 million striker.
I hope he looks like he's £150 striker on Sunday, please. So without no further ado, let's let in the fireman himself, none other than Sizzler, Troy Townsend. Fireman in the building. No, we gotta make this one run early. Yo, try.
I've missed Sizzler chat,
Fireman!
I have missed the Sizzler shout, you know. I've missed it.
That's a good shit.
Have you got a bottle of water beside you, Troy?
Listen, stop the bottle of water. Can I jump straight in, yeah? Because I don't, Eddie must have thought I didn't hear what he said, you know. Eddie must have thought I didn't hear what he said, but I'm backstage listening to everything, yeah? So I heard what he said, so I'm ready to bring the thunder and the fire now, yeah?
God bless you, bro.
I'm good. I'm all good. It's a pleasure to be back.
Yeah, man. God bless you. We couldn't end the season without having the legend back on, you know what I mean?
Ah, bless, man. But you've had many a legend after me. Don't worry about that. I've been watching in. Don't worry how you're spiking up the ante. You know what I mean?
As they say, you started the fire burning. Yeah.
I think once you came on, everybody thought, okay, well, if we can come on, then
it's good enough. Yeah.
So, Troy, Eddie, fire that question to brother Troy again.
But the thing is, he said before I come on, so you fire it up like the flame, yeah. And then look, you know what I mean?
Okay, so in that Crystal Palace team, right? Which you know, the one. Let's start with the perennial conversation about can they keep, you know, their star player, right? And Tottenham have wanted him for years, but they haven't been prepared to pay the money. It seems to me as though he is the star player, but he seems to perform well there. I mean, obviously, I don't want you to betray any secrets and all of that, but this guy Hodgson kept it all. He kept them all together. They were safe in the Premiership, weren't they, Crystal Palace?
Listen, since Roy has been there, Palace have performed to a level that I don't think has been appreciated, to be totally honest. And I think I heard you say that, you know, they'll soon realise what a good coach Roy was. And Roy came in when Palace were rock bottom. You know, they'd no wins, no goals, you know, and his first 2 games were Man United and Man City, and they got battered in both games away from home. And then they faced Chelsea at home, you know, and he that day showed what a tactical guy Roy Hodgson was, you know, and they won 2-1. Zaha scored the winner, and that was the ground base for Roy pitting his wits against the best managers in the league. You know, he's gone to Old Trafford twice. Let me just say this now, because I'm going to get all this noise out now. He's been to Old Trafford twice and won at Old Trafford. He's been to the Emirates and won and drawn. He's been to the Etihad and won and drawn. You know, so he's got an absolutely brilliant record when it comes to, when you think of the resources at the football club as well. You know, he's got a brilliant record. He's kept the core of the team going together, and you know, probably their home record has not been one to send any messages home, but he can compete with the best, and he's kept that club more than above water in the Premier League. And it's been really good to be a part of, you know, watching him and watching the football team, to be totally honest, do their thing. You know, they've been ostracized a little bit this season. He does have a cautious approach to start with. Do you know what I mean? But again, you've got to remember who they are and where they are against the figures and the finances, against the you know, the big six and others around that top of the league table. And
you know, TT says that with the knowledge that he has. But good evening, boss. By the way, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. The development of players as well. What a real tragedy, and I meant that word tragedy, that the likes of this Ibera Eze has got this injury now, which is likely to keep him out 6 months or so, because he has absolutely been electric.
They love him.
He's been absolutely electric. The Tyrick Mitchells of this world have been coming on slowly but surely as well. I think Eddie's right. And I'll tell you what, Robbo, as a Liverpool fan, please be careful with Crystal Palace on Sunday, because they have that ability. They have
history. They have history, Robert. If I remember rightly, Crystal Palace Liverpool is a good match for history.
Definitely.
We are the last team to beat Liverpool at Anfield with fans. We are the last team to do that. And that was the second year on the trot, by the way.
I don't want.
Listen, we know that. We ain't taking them for granted.
It's not a given. Trust me.
We're not. We're not taking them for granted. There's too many stories. Roy coming back, Benteke saying, "Yeah, dash me away, did ya?" When they went and tore up Steven Gerrard's farewell dance, that was horrible. So we've got history with Crystal Palace. So no doubt Klopp has he's thought about that.
Robbo, just to pick up on Rodney's point about his development of young players as well, you know, he brought Eze in this season, and a lot of the Crystal Palace fans were critical because he didn't start him straight away. You know, Palace went to Old Trafford and won 3-1. I'm just going to throw that in there again. Palace went to Old Trafford and won 3-1. Eze came in and played.
Wake up, Eddie.
Yeah, but he's not playing no part in this conversation at the moment.
We was feeling our way. We was feeling our way.
And he's thinking about crumpets.
We was feeling our way through the season.
Eddie, it was first of 6 home defeats. I can't remember how many it is now, but it was the first one.
Yeah.
But he didn't utilize Eze from the start of the season, and everyone was going, what's he doing? What's he doing? But then there's no praise for the way that he has brought him on, you know, the way he has given him that pivotal role now, and the way he has eased into that team. The same with young Tyrick Mitchell. I mean, I look at him and think, boy, if they could have kept Wan-Bissaka as well, those two as fullbacks down either side would have been amazing. But
Eze is such a talent, though, bro.
Listen, there's more to come.
He looks like he played with Premiership.
Yeah, but you guys ain't seen nothing yet.
That's a bad injury.
It's such a shame about the injury. Yeah, it is. And to be honest, I'm cautious of that injury because it's the same injury that Ruben Loftus-Cheek had, and it's the same injury that Callum Hudson-Odoi had. Yeah,
that it can affect you longer than
absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. But look, I don't think Roy has got the credit. I know the Arsenal game and the fanfare around him and afterwards and that. I still don't believe he's got the credit he deserves for what he's achieved at Crystal Palace. You know, highest points total that they've ever had, 49 points. Never been in the relegation zone once he got them out of the relegation zone 4 years ago. So never really been in threat of relegation. Although people love to keep saying, Palace are in and around. They've never been in threat of relegation. And like I said, he's pulled off some absolutely tremendous victories during that period of time as well.
So who do you see going down there, right?
Isn't it
Dyche going there?
Dyche is the favourite, isn't he?
Well, I'll tell you what, there's an outsider. Dyche has always been kind of a favourite, but there's an outsider that is Steve Cooper at Swansea. which will depend on whether Steve Cooper obviously brings Swansea up into the Premier League as they're in the playoffs. But he is an outsider because they want a younger model. They want someone who also plays a style of play. I think, to be totally honest, and Palace fans might not like this, they've looked at the way that Graham Potter has gone in at Brighton and has changed their style of play. Now, I would say you always need to be cautious around that because he's changed their style of play, but only still has the same points that Chris Hughton gets. So what's changed really? There's two different styles, but the same kind of points total. But I think that's what Palace are looking at. They're looking at a younger model. They're looking at someone that coaches a lot more, although Roy does do the coaching. And I think that they're looking to obviously lower the age group of the players that they have as the oldest, group of players in the league. But with that, there's a lot of, Frank de Boer came in at Crystal Palace and tried to change things massively. And it was never going to work.
Tony
Davies.
Yeah,
I mean, it was never, ever going to work, He was trying to be too radical, too quick. And some clubs have a style and a formula that works for the club. And I think that's I don't think Frank de Boer kind of realized that. And I think we've seen with the rest of his career how it's gone on, although he is the Holland manager now, that maybe he wasn't as good as what he made out to be when he came into the Premier League. So Roy took over at a really difficult time, but Roy took over and has stabilized the place and has been, like I said, I can't say it enough, has been amazing for the football club.
But aren't there a few teams now looking for a manager? Wolves are looking for a manager. Tottenham are looking for a manager. Crystal Palace are going to look for a manager. It's going to be very... My worry is, and I'd just like to get you and Rodney's thought on this, is that those three teams were so poor this year, and the three that went down, it's made the Newcastles and the like start to look good, and the Burnleys and the like. It's not going to... Norwich have come up with an incredible points total. It's going to be much more competitive than that. You might see the likes of Crystal Palace, Burnley, and all those kind of get drawn into it. It's going to be more competitive next year, isn't it?
I think it's always competitive, Ed, but I see Norwich as a yo-yo club. Norwich have again run away with the championship, but have they got enough money to make them competitive in the Premier League? I don't think they have. I think they're one of those that will be happy if they get full from bottom, to be totally honest. I'd love to see Brentford come up through the playoffs, and if Brentford do, then we may see a team that may, similar to what Wolves did when they first came in, may take the Premier League by storm, like a Leeds obviously have done this year. But listen, I think Crystal Palace needs to be very careful. I think Wolves need to be very careful with who they get in after Nuno, You're right, it kind of drags everyone back together almost, but your Burnleys and the Newcastles, they're always there and thereabouts, but they have enough in them to drag themselves away.
They might need a new manager as well, Troy, because Brucey might not stay.
Yeah, I think they might do. But I think, to be totally honest, I think Newcastle would probably, as a club, can attract the best of managers there, like they did with obviously Rafa Benitez. But it's working with Mike Ashley at that football club.
Yeah,
because you've got a bit of history with that, haven't you, with your boy?
I've got a bit. Listen, it's a fantastic place.
Yeah, I've been there. There's a lot of fans. They think they're a big club, don't they? Like Aston Villa.
I think
They are a big club. They are a massive club. They're a massive club. 52,000 fans who only have Newcastle United to support, to be honest. And the whole where the ground is situated, it's the vocal point of the town. And it's a massive goldfish bowl. But I think if they could get Mike Ashley out of there and get owners that really appreciate the football club for what it is, then Newcastle potentially are a Europa League team, without doubt. Do it in stages. They are without doubt a Europa League team.
But the spoilers are Leeds United, though. Leeds just come and just done everybody's party, bro.
Yeah, but just going back to Newcastle, right? Any team that their supporters in the middle of winter without no shirt on, drinking lager.
Those people without shirt on ain't playing football.
Exactly.
Hey, there's a lot of Scottish fans who go up like, I support Dundee. No shirt. No shirt.
Yeah, but we see Newcastle. We don't see Dundee. We see Newcastle.
And by the way,
the
Robbo,
depths
that is
of
not a
winter.
Scottish accent, by the way. That's not a Scottish accent.
I got lost in translation. I was still thinking about Newcastle.
I mean, listen, people get excited about Leeds as well, and I can understand the
I
excitement
love
about
Leeds. I'm loving the Leeds right now.
Right,
manager.
They've done well, and I don't want to go OTT with Leeds because they have done well in their first season back. And again, with fans, they may have even have done better. But there was a stage where they were very, very similar to the Newcastles, the Wolves, all the teams that you're talking about, you know, and they were just above the kind of not relegation as such, but because of the way they played football, people always thought they were better. What BLC has done is made sure they're competitive, and also they work. They're the hardest team, aren't they? They work their socks off consistently.
Run the most miles, don't they?
Add that with a tint of some really exciting, sexy football, and with someone that scores goals. And I never thought Patrick Bamford would score goals in the Premier League, if you want me to be totally honest. So yeah, you know,
he's getting props though, is he?
We talk about some of those clubs, but I mean, what Leeds had is a clear philosophy of how Bielsa wants them to play. You know, win or lose or draw, they were going to be man marking, they were going to be high energy. And as TT said, right, Patrick Bamford has taken everybody by surprise. Sometimes
he was at Chelsea, wasn't he? He was at Chelsea at one time.
He's been everywhere. He's been everywhere, really. He's been everywhere.
But, you know, the types of goals he scores, his head, and obviously he's predominantly left-footed, he's been superb. I think second season syndrome will be their thing next year. Because teams work you out at the top flight, don't they?
Yeah.
In terms of Palace, though, TT, I know obviously Roy's going, but I know as well that there's a host of players where contracts have to be renewed. So I think whoever's going to take over there has a bit of a challenge because you don't even know what you're playing stuff.
What you're keeping, yeah.
You know what? I think that process has been badly managed. It's been badly managed. Yeah,
it shouldn't
12
be that
players.
bigger number, should it? At that stage,
no, 12 players out of contract. With the management team as well, you're not going to get finance on those players unless obviously you re-engage them in contracts. You're bringing in a manager who, you know, a new manager now who straight away comes in, he's not sure what he's got to play with. Palace haven't got massive amount of money, so they have to use the loan market a lot better than what they did last season, by the way. You know, they brought Batshuayi back in and he's hardly been used, you know, but I'll be honest with you. Like I say, I watch every single Palace game and he's not the Batshuayi we brought in 2 seasons ago, you know. So
2 seasons ago, didn't he?
Exactly. And he was, you know, he fitted in.
What happened to him?
I just think he's been everywhere. I think, you know, he's someone that he's still a Chelsea player. He needs to leave and go and find a home.
Okay.
And I'm not quite that sure that home is in England anymore.
You think it's mental then with him, knowing that he's a Chelsea player?
Yeah, he's a Chelsea player that's never going to play for Chelsea. And by the way, there's 37 of those players that are out on loan that are never going to play for Chelsea Football Club. And I include your Ruben Loftus-Cheeks in that, who is an incredible player, but I don't think he'll play for Chelsea. So those players now have to realise that this loan thing at their age is not good. They need a home. They need to be stable. They need to know that they're going to be playing football week in and week out. And to be fair, there is a home for all of those players. I'd like Crystal Palace to actually sign Ruben Loftus-Cheek because he had such a great time at Palace. He'd be one that I'd pull out the red carpet for if they could. So yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty, and I don't think that helps with the potential of any new manager that comes in, knowing that he's got a lot of wheeling and dealing to do straight away. But also the fact that obviously he's going to have to bring in some of his own talent, but won't get the money, the finance coming in that manager would probably need.
There's a lot of players. There's a lot of players who've done a Victor Moses, but not as successful as Victor Moses.
I mean, bearing in mind we're talking about Chelsea and loan players. I think we saw the best of Tammy Abraham in a Villa shirt. Do you remember when he was on loan there?
Yeah.
Bearing in mind, okay, Benteke's come a little bit alive towards back end of the season. Could a Tammy Abraham work at Palace?
Of course he could, but I think so. You know, I think Tammy would think that he's better than Palace, and that's not being disrespectful. I think Tammy would think that he's an England international. You know, he scored goals in the Premier League for one of the big clubs, and is Crystal Palace where he wants to ply his trade for 2 or 3 years. So I think to be honest with you, I could see him at a West Ham. I could see Tammy Abraham leading the line at a West Ham. You think of West Ham, every time Mikel Antonio gets injured, they've not got a vocal point. Yeah. And that is quite often, to be totally honest. So I think there'd be clubs higher up the league that would go, if we could nick Tammy Abraham, we'll take him. But again,
Isn't
all
that
day long.
interesting, Troy, how you talk this year about West Ham being higher up the league. They're like Christmas decorations ordinarily. At Christmas, they're up and then they drop down. Lingard, another lone player, has really helped them. There's no guarantee that he's going to stay there.
No.
Man United haven't given any indication at all. And he was a big part. I think he put 9 goals in his first 10 games or something like that. And he's lifted, you know, he's that kind of character, isn't he? He's lifted the room.
He's bubbly.
But, you know,
yeah.
I wouldn't say that West Ham are guaranteed to.
I don't think they are.
Of Euro football.
Yeah, but he's going to cost them if they want him, and he's going to cost them in wages as well. And you have to think about all of that, because obviously when you go on loan, you do a deal where your wages are agreed with the parent club, and you're not having to pay a fee. You know, you might pay a loan fee that is 1 mil, 2 mil, and you can handle that. But to get Jesse Lingard now with the goals that he scored as well, his stock has gone up straight away. He's become part of the England squad again.
Troy, is that, I'm joking about Victor Moses, but he is an example of a player that's obviously known, you know, at Chelsea, was known, you know, next season, you ain't going to be here. You'll be somewhere, but you won't be here. But he had a very strong attitude in Nigerian footballer to just go out, and wherever he played, he actually really did well. Didn't get the credit that he should have got. But do you think that is a drawback for some of the players that are out there who are thinking that they're bigger? I'm not saying Tammy Abraham does.
No.
Do you think that is a problem for players? Many years ago, players would go out and just go and play their football and just do your job. Do you think that's going to be a drawback in the next few? Because there's going to be money floating around in there. For some clubs, there's going to be no money floating around. So the loan system is going to have to be exploited. Do you see a lot of players getting pushed around, and will they be able to handle it?
Without doubt. But getting pushed around, yes, because like you say, the finances are not the same anymore in the game, and won't be for a little while, to be fair, whether it does get to where it needs to be anymore. Being pushed around is a tough thing to handle. You know, because first of all, you get over that psyche of feeling not wanted at your parent club.
Yeah.
But if you do it properly, you think to yourself, well, I'm going to show them. And I think every time you use an example of Victor, every time Victor's gone on the loan, he's gone and enjoyed himself, because he's gone, do you know what? I'm away from the environment. You know, his last really good spell at Chelsea was under Conte, wasn't it? And he enjoyed that. And the minute
he won the league, right?
It was like, exactly. But then Conte used him in a system that suited Victor.
He played the wing back role there, didn't he?
Exactly. And you know, he exploded in that zone. But then other managers were like, well, I don't play that, so I don't need you, without really giving him an opportunity, you know. But you know, Victor's gone and played for Inter Milan, etc. So ultimately, he's probably going to say, all right, good luck. Look at me. Look at my career. I'm still making a a career out of it, and while still being registered at your football club, and while you keep changing your managers, I'm going to, you know, create a name and still be relevant in the game, you know, even though it's abroad. So, but players have to prepare themselves for that. It's a mental thing as much as a playing ability thing, because anyone that wants you, that's of any kind of, you know, that's of good status, you're going to want to perform, because, you know, if you perform, your status goes up, your price tag goes up, your home club thinks, well, why do we let him go out on loan? And I think that's what Jesse Lingard has done. He's the perfect example of that. There's no way he should not be achieving in that Man United team. But there was something going on where Jesse Lingard was not going to play for United. And I know he had personal problems as well, but he's took those personal problems aside and has absolutely, you know, smashed it at West Ham, which now means that he's sought after. People want him now.
Can we talk? We have got super fans in the house, and I know they're going to shed some views on the situation. Ernie's already shed his view about transfers, but let's just talk about some of the talent that, like, for instance, a Tammy Abraham, and let's talk about some of the talents that have done really well, like a Rafinha at Leeds. I'll ask Rodney, because he's across those players a lot more, all of the clubs. Who do you think will be the big fines or the big purchases that you can see that are coming from the potential lower team, like obviously Brighton with Lamptey and Rafinha? Who are the big fines this season, and you think people will be after?
With the boy Basuma as well, the midfielder.
And Basuma, but who do you think the ones are definitely, you know, it doesn't matter what the contracts say, that's going to get broken, they'll be off? Who do you think?
Me or Rodney?
Oh, I started with Rodney, then obviously I hear from the fire.
Oh,
Go on, Rod.
oh, cheers, mate. I think the boy Basuma at Brighton has got bigger things in as well. You touched on Lamptey at Brighton as well, but he's suffered an injury, which I think is going to hold him back a little bit. Because, do you know what I mean? Definitely Rafinha. I think I said on this forum before, I think Rafinha of Leeds has been linked with Liverpool. And I know you were excited about that, Robbo, because you could obviously see the ability and the talent there as well. Those would be amongst the three that I would definitely consider. And I've got to say about Brighton as well, we don't often talk about them. And I know TT talked about Graham Potter being linked with other jobs as well. Even though the points tally doesn't do them any favours in terms of the Chris Hughton sacking, which I think we all knew was poor. But you know what? If Brighton were to invest in a striker to get them 20 goals a season, I think it'd be higher up the table. Because when you watch,
they've got the ex-Man U striker, haven't they?
No, the ex-Arsenal striker, not Man U. Arsenal.
He scored more goals this year than he scored for a little while. I mean, he scored some vital goals for them.
You're talking about my goalkeeper scored more goals than him. Get out of here.
Oh, dear.
Oh, here we go.
Let me ask.
Welbeck was better for England than he was for the club side. He's one of those guys. He's absolutely, he's a hard-working, diligent guy, and I won't have a word said against him.
So, Ed, who would you take? I mean, look at the teams below the top 7 places. Who would you like to see float over to Man United? Who are possibilities out of those teams floating around mid and bottom of the table?
Well,
because you've done well with Wan-Bissaka. No, forget Harry Kane. We've done sugar legs already.
But that's all we need. All we need is a striker. I don't believe that we need anybody else, honestly, in order to... If he gets the money that he wants and he stays and he plays Pogba, because this will be his last big contract, right? What is he, 28, 29? What is he, Robbo? This will be his last big contract. So if he stays, this is it. Yeah? And you got him in the centre there. I think we're all right. We get a striker, guaranteed 20 goals, then why can't we be in the reckoning for everything?
Disagree.
We need a
centre half. You need a centre half.
Definitely.
You need a centre half, and you also need a better controlling midfielder. A better one. Yeah. One that in the biggest games doesn't mess about. McTominay and Fred.
Too similar.
You don't know what you're going to get. Yeah, you don't know what you get. Sometimes you get an absolutely outstanding performance, and then at times they're dragged all over the place.
And
so for me,
those quality midfielders that you're talking about are all on the blue half of Manchester, aren't they?
Oh, without doubt.
Whether it be a De Bruyne, whether it be a Gundogan, do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
Kane has already referenced De Bruyne today in one of his chats, and as I said early on, I just think that if he does go anywhere and it is Man City, it just adds to that Man City portfolio. Yeah. It just
can't we nick Ndidi or Tielemans from Leicester for United?
Why would they want to leave?
I'll tell you what, though. I'll tell you what, and you've mentioned some really great names, but there's a centre back at Fulham, Anderson. He's only on loan at Fulham. Linked with Spurs, but I think potentially, I've watched him a couple of times now. I like him. He's good on the ball. He's quite elegant. He's obviously
very confident
as
well.
Reads the game. Yeah, exactly. Reads the game well. I think an English club will sign him. I like the lad Pereira at West Brom.
Yes,
Pereira. Yeah, at West Brom. He's got a lovely touch. I think he needs a better team to go and express himself. And go and perform I think he can perform at a really good level. Basuma, like you said, Rod, the midfielder, which I think Liverpool would do Liverpool really well. It's a shame about Lamptey because he's better than Brighton.
I think Lamptey's
he's better than Brighton.
Yeah.
So there's one or two
Neto?
already there.
What about the Portuguese Neto?
I could see Wolves breaking up a little bit now. I think that's a good shout because I can see them breaking up a little bit now. But he's also got another long-term injury as well, so he might struggle to even make the start of the season. But there's definitely some good talent there, and we have still got to throw in the mix the likes of Will Zaha and Jack Grealish.
What's going to happen, mate? What's going to happen with those two players?
Neither of them will leave their team because sometimes.
Yeah, go on.
Neither of them. Grealish has been there since he was a child, hasn't he? And there have been very many opportunities when they were being promoted, when they were in the playoffs. Why would he leave there now? They've shown that they can play without him, which is great.
Eddie, let me tell you this. Eddie, let me tell you this. He wanted to leave, right?
Yeah, I agree with
Daniel Levy was so stingy, right? So stingy that he didn't. But he wanted to leave. What you've got to remember as well is that when players go on international duty, and they mix with the United players, the Liverpool players, the Man City players. Yeah. And then you then become a little bit jealous because as they walk in, they'll go, have a look at that Champions League medal. Have a look at that. Do you know what I mean? Look at what we've done.
So let me give you, Troy, you're probably right. You're close to that. Let me just give you the basis of my thought. With Grealish and certainly with Saha, Saha did the big move. He did the big move. He came to Man United and it didn't work. You've got to be a bit shy because he's got there. He's got at Crystal Palace. He's the big man. Everything works around him. Grealish is, and I imagine your ego wants to know whether you could do it anywhere. But both of those teams did all right this season. So they leave them to go Tottenham. They leave them to go Arsenal. Both of Aston Villa did really. Of all the teams we've talked about, I'm surprised we haven't mentioned Villa because of all the teams we've mentioned, Villa brilliant.
Maybe because John Terry's there. That's why.
Yeah, I think that's
puts you off a little bit. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And wearing his Black Lives Matter t-shirt.
Well, that's the one. That's the one. Yeah. Over his heart as well, by the way. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, maybe because of that. The only thing I'm saying, Ed, is that I know Jack Grealish wants to perform at the highest level. Like Harry Kane. See the way Harry Kane's talking now? I want to play at the highest level. I want to play with the best players. I want to play in the biggest competitions. No disrespect to Aston Villa. They are not playing in the Champions League. They will not play in the Champions League. Europa League for them could probably see them get knocked out in a country that we can't even spell. So I'm not being funny. That's not the ambition of someone that wants
really
to be...
go to Tottenham or Arsenal. There you go. Because if you look at the teams, Chelsea are not really recruiting. They need to get rid of people. Man City are not really recruiting unless they take a striker to replace Kong. Okay. And who's recruiting? So we've got a lot of movement to make.
If Jack Grealish was offered to Man City and they could do a deal, they'd do a deal. I'm telling you now, if Jack Grealish could get to... But the only thing is, again...
Who's he better than, Troy? Who's he better than?
Doesn't matter about better than. It makes them better. And look at the way that Pep does his team. Pep is no respect of who you are. So basically what he says is, this week you're playing, and I don't care if you get a hat-trick, you're not playing next week. We're dealing on multiple platforms here. And with Pep, he wants to win everything.
He can't buy Harry Kane and
listen,
him.
Jurgen Klopp doesn't respect English Cup competitions. He wants to go for the Premier League or Europe. So he doesn't have to mix his squad in the way that Pep does to try and win everything. I agree with you though, Ed. I don't think they can get Kane and Grealish. But what I'm saying is, if there was an ounce that... So if Kyle Walker comes back and says, Jack's been talking to me and he said, look, can you raise the money? I think Manchester City do what they can to get him. I honestly think they do what they can to get him. He only suits certain teams and certain styles. Spurs would be one of those, and Man City would be those.
Guys, I want to keep this talk going. I love this conversation about players and in the ins and outs, and I think that's the way it's going to go for the rest of the show. But we've nearly out-talked the super fans, and they have their opinions. But I'm going to bring in firstly, because it's pretty late for him. He's a sports presenter on Premiership Channel in East Africa. I'll call him Dr. Eric Najiro. He's when Spoonie does his show, he just says, Spoon, you're talking rubbish, and he just drops the facts. So if Eric's here, and of course we've got Ben Roy and Trevor also. Eric Wagwan.
And we got Robert as well.
West Ham we have in the house.
We've got Trevor.
2 West Ham. The screen is loaded. The screen is loaded. So we're going to talk about...
Is this not where I duck out? If you got West Ham man in there.
No.
Shut up.
Everybody hold firm. So let me just start with Eric, because I know it's pretty late for Eric out there. He's a few hours ahead of us. Eric, you're obviously across the whole thing. It's that weekend, top 4. Who's going to finish in the top 4? You know what I mean? We could be out of it. How does it look? How does the fans view the season for the top 6 teams, Eric, in Africa?
Whoa, can you repeat that? I couldn't get you clearly. I think there was a breakup.
Oh, don't make him say all that again.
Eric, how's Sunday looking? That's it. How is Sunday looking? How's the fancy? Arsenal are their number one team. They're nowhere in sight. How is Sunday looking, son?
Oh, yeah. So, obviously, Sunday is a big day in the Premier League. We're all waiting to see who's going to miss out. Guys, here are waiting for Chelsea to miss out. Remember, Chelsea are one of the most important teams in Africa, obviously, after now, we do hope that Chelsea can miss out. That obviously you can laugh at them, but as it stands, I do think it will be so hard for Leicester City to make it through, or for Villa to beat Chelsea. Obviously, I'll be hoping for Chelsea to draw and go out of the Champions League, but I do think that's a long call. That's a long shot, man.
So, Eric, you come on, man. You sit on this show every week. I know the fans. It's Man United and Arsenal. That is how East Africa look. They only see Man United and they only see Arsenal. Are you telling me there's nobody out there that's supporting Chelsea on the East in Tanzania, Kenya? Come on, son.
There is, of course, Chelsea is that big team in this region. Man United, and then Chelsea fans are the young guys, the guys who supported watching football from 2005, 2004 when Mourinho came to the Premier League. So most of them are not used to losing, to going for a period of time without a title. So that's why they're in a situation where they don't imagine that they can lose the FA Cup and still go on and lose the Champions League and probably lose the top four. So it's got to be weak for them. But there are so many of them in Kenya, Uganda, TZ, Ghana, Nigeria. I mean, the era of Drogba, Essence, and everyone else brought so many fans from Africa to support Chelsea.
I hear that, bro. So this weekend, the bars, the clubs, I know how you do it in Nairobi. You lot are nuts. It's like this thing starts from like 9 in the morning till 9 in the morning the following day. The clubs are going to be filled and the bars are going to be filled for sports all day in Africa. What game are you looking forward to? I know you're a Liverpool fan, but away from the Liverpool game, what game are you looking forward to?
Oh, I'm looking forward to Chelsea playing Aston Villa. Yes, team were playing hard for us because United are through the league. So it's Chelsea. Everyone is interested to see how Chelsea will do. Remember, Chelsea in the Champions League final, and people here are not so happy. United fans, as fans, they're not happy to see Chelsea in the Champions League. So they would be so happy to see Chelsea drop out of the top four and lose the Champions League. So apart from the Liverpool game on Sunday, that would be like 6 p.m. in Kenya, I'll be watching the Chelsea game.
You heard it, people. I only tell you what it is, man. Out there, they are crazy Arsenal fans, as he told us, and Man United. So, yeah, Chelsea is a bit of a piss take for Africa right now. But we'll have to see how it goes. Hang tight there, Eric. We have also Trevor. Ernie's mate, Trevor's in the building, the super fan.
He's got the atmosphere on as well. And
God,
Ben,
what is that?
Yeah,
what
and
is
Ben Roy as well. Whoa.
Hey,
I'm ignoring Ben Roy myself. I'll leave that for you. So Trevor,
there's interference on the screen.
You see, now you know what I'm ignoring. Let me talk to let me talk to the sensible West Ham fan. Trevor, you've been on the show before. You talked up a good talk, and that at that point when you talked about being you're flying high when you came on the show. Still a pretty good season for West Ham, right?
Still very good. Top six is, someone said to us last year, you're going to finish in the top six, you would laugh. We've had a great season. It's been not good for the blood pressure being a West Ham fan this year. There's been some long games where, especially the West Brom game the other night, we didn't think was going to win it, but we come through very, very good. Team's doing well. Big game on Sunday, home to Southampton. First time we got the fans in the stadium as well, so that should give a good lift to the game. Fabianski's out injured, but I still think we're secured at 6th spot and off to Europa.
You need a point, don't you?
Yeah, minimum. minimum. Southampton were a good side, though. Very good.
They're a very good side and they're a very bad side. That's the thing. Their season has been really held to skelter, isn't it? So it depends which Southampton turns up, really.
Correct. I mean, you touched on Lingard earlier. Yeah, it'd be great to sign him. Piero as well from West Brom. I'd like to see at West Ham also. You're right. We need a replacement. They did talk about Tammy Abraham coming in as cover for Antonio. We'll see what happens in the summer.
You got money then?
Would Tammy Abraham want to come as cover? He wouldn't want to come as cover, would he, Trevor?
Oh, they were just talking.
You're talking like West Ham got money. Have you got money? Have you got a magic money tree?
Hey, we got loads of money, bro.
We got loads of money. We got money.
We got loads of money.
Ben Roy, you're a super fan. You're not.
No,
before,
I'm a forever fan. I'm a forever fan.
No, let me get it right. You're a super duper fan.
You know this.
Ben Roy, would you want Tammy Abraham leading the line at West Ham?
Yes.
Think about the think about his girl on Instagram though. When Moyes drops him, think about the girl though. When Moyes drops him, he can't control her fingers.
Hey, every great man, there's a woman.
Yeah, but they got to know their place. They can't be on Instagram boosting up their man.
They got to, ain't they? They got to earn their money as well.
She don't know nothing about team tactics though, Ben Roy.
Hey?
She don't know nothing about team tactics, brother.
What, have you managed a team?
No.
There you go.
Can I ask you West Ham fans a question? We had your manager. He was of Everton. He went to Europe and was embarrassed. And he's come back and it's kind of redemption. If it was another time, you would have said he was ideal for Palace, actually, because good organisation. What's he brought to West Ham, Moyes? What is he good? What's he brought? But clearly he's done well. You know,
talk up, Benny. Talk up, Benny.
Right. What is he brought?
Stability.
Can we have the screen on Ben Roy, please? Because there's a big talk coming. I feel it.
That's right.
Screen on Benny.
Stability and one signing made a big difference. End of story.
But he's not permanent. You don't know that you're going to have him there. If he's not there next year, then what happens?
Well, that's next year. But we got to deal with this year. I'm very disappointed we didn't get in the Champions League because we had a chance. We had a blatant chance. Chance. You know
I think all the teams have a chance. All the teams have a chance at the beginning of the FA Cup. But at the end of the day,
we had a bad chance on Tottenham and Arsenal.
And we was in the top four.
Benny, I think you should change Ben Wright. You should change your name to Big Talk Benny.
That's right.
Hey,
that's right.
Trevor.
Yeah.
If you do, let's talk next season. You guys managed to get into Europa League, tough Europa League. We've seen many teams hit that Europa League fixture list and they can't manage it. They slide further down the table, the Burnleys, you name them. How do you think Moyes goes about bringing West Ham, keeping them in that same position and obviously handling the Europa League position if it becomes a place for West Ham?
It's going to be difficult. We need to add some signings and Eddie's right. We don't have the money. We don't have the cash. So we're looking at players from the young under the academy, the under 21s to step up a little bit. Some loan deals possibly going forward. So we need to strengthen the squad. We need a deep squad to contest with the additional games, cup runs, Europa League, and the Premier League this year. So we didn't get the additions, but they will be, I'm assuming, loan signings.
And I asked a question last time he came in. I said, does the fans make a difference? Now, if the disappointing games happen and we've seen the reaction of the fans, West Ham fans are noted for the hostility towards not only the manager, but to the guy sitting next door to, the guy in the next seat. Do you think the fans coming back at your stadium, what's it called? London Stadium?
London Stadium.
Yeah, London Stadium. I can't remember the name. I thought it was called the O2 Stadium. I can't remember.
So I will sort you out, man.
Do you think that's going to have an adverse effect on West Ham next season, or do you think he's played the blinder and this is the way it is from now on? Moyes is your man.
I'd like to think that. I think we're going to go into next season with a lot of confidence from this year. Fans will be an addition, and you're right. It can be very difficult playing against fans if you're not playing a good game or just not going your way. They're on your back. It causes a lot of distractions for us. But I think with the fans, good big test on Sunday. I know it's only 10,000, nowhere near what with 80,000 capacity we now
You
got.
normally get about 11,000, right?
Yeah, I think there's back
Don't
between.
get feisty about 11,000.
They go through Westfield offering
stadium,
tickets.
mate.
Yeah, that's if
What?
Westfield's got a sale on. You get about 10,000, right? When there's a sale on.
Every time you buy something at Primark, they give you a ticket to go to Westfield.
Here we go.
Benroy,
Yeah.
how do you feel? How do you feel you guys come up against not only, as I said, the fan situation? How do you think that plays out? Do you think that will have an effect next season? Because well done to West Ham this year.
Thank you. I appreciate it. There's a lot coming from you, but yeah, thank you very much. I think it's very important for the fans to get behind the side. I think that we should have more faith in our youth system and bringing it through. Because that's how we always been West Ham. I've supported West Ham since I was 4 years old. Because my school and my primary school next, so all I knew was West Ham. I don't know nothing else. And that's why I said the West Ham way. We always brought people through. Rio Ferdinand, all them guys, John Terry was at West Ham as well. But we don't bring people through. We go and waste money, and then we had to go and sell the guy from France. And then we lost all that money. He didn't even score a goal, I don't think. You know what I mean? So, we waste money. We got money. We have got money because we don't really pay for the stadium. It's a cheap rent. We got money. We've got money. Don't listen to that. Hey, listen, we've got money. But they don't shout at it.
Yeah. Sorry.
We got money, mate. We got money.
Yeah,
we need to invest in more in our youth.
One of the things that without the facts that I've noticed about West Ham is that last time I remember the Bradys, the O'Sullivans, they weren't really getting on with fans. Has that changed, do you think?
Well, that's something you have to ask Trevor because he goes to the games. I ain't been to the games since the 80s because I've always played football. I had no time to go and watch the games. Do you know what I mean? So you'll have to ask Trevor because he goes down there a lot. But when it was at Upton Park, round the corner from my house, I used to sneak in and watch the games. But from there, I've grown up. I don't go to games anymore.
So, Trev, do you do Westfields and do a bit of shopping and go on?
Shut up.
Then go and watch your.
You're pushing it. No, straight to the game.
Come on, Trev.
He goes on that slide. You know that slide? They've just reopened it. He goes on that.
You know what, though?
Funny you get them big guys, isn't it?
Tonight, gents. Why am I getting
you know what? On a serious note, and you mentioned, let me go back to the Europa League. You mentioned Europa League. West Ham's, Burnley's, Wolves, all them clubs cannot have deep squads to go and compete in Europa League, the Premier League, and our local cup competitions. They, not being funny, you can't hold a big squad at West Ham United because people want to play, and people get upset players get upset very quickly and then feel that they could be better moved on. So West Ham's, Burnley's, Wolves, all those that have tried to attempt to get it have done well in the leagues. Wolves, Leeds will find they've suffered. Leeds will find that out next year. Benroy, let me finish. Remember, you was only a goalkeeper, so you man could play 90 minutes Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I mean,
Benny was a goalkeeper.
Hey, tell him, Trey. Hey, tell me that. Hey, he never beat we, Ask him. He never beat us. That's right. So you talking? Don't let me. Hey,
don't let me tell them about that penalty where I sent you the other way. Yeah. But no, I'm being serious.
Butterfingers Benny. Butterfingers Benny, right?
He's a top keeper, man. He's a top keeper, but he's the kind of keeper that will brock your leg when he come out as well. You know what I mean?
Right,
you have to mind yourself.
I want you.
You have to wear shin pads up to your kneecap and all them kind of things. You know what I mean? But no, I honestly believe that. I think that I don't think those clubs. Yeah.
You can't take your soul because you're always playing on a Sunday generally, so you're playing catch up in the league, right? Just to go back to West Ham fans, I think it's a real pity that this season of all season, West Ham fans have not been in that stadium, right? Because the club, let's say, overachieved this season and playing some great football as well. So it's a real pity because we will still do a negative on West Ham fans, but they are some of the best when they're back in the team, by the way. Yeah, they stick their hearts out. There's a vibe there. There's an atmosphere. I think the Europa League has the potential to hinder because, as I said, you're playing catch up every week in the Premier League. And if we're talking about money, I think the owners will have to spend a little bit more. I don't think you'll hold on to Jesse Lingard. because ironically, he's come and done the business for you, but as Troy said, he's put himself in the shop window. Yeah,
he's going Everton.
And if Ollie's got anything about him at Man United, he'd probably have to integrate Jesse into that Man United team.
All right, listen. Speaking of Man United, Robert. I mean, we're talking about investment. I think Robert needs to invest in that backdrop. That is awful. That is awful. I mean, listen. The fireman. Listen, the only person that's allowed to come with a backdrop like that is Troy. Troy can drop any wallpaper. Right now, Troy is rocking a vintage 1970s Gucci wallpaper.
Yeah. He's got that. Boris Johnson
was. He can do that. Fireman can do that.
£140 a row.
Yes.
Hey, Eddie, we used to slap wallpaper in All Nations.
Yeah. That's the one that
spent a lot of my life trying to rub that off the wall.
Rub down
wallpaper. Where do you think I got it from? Where do you think I got it from? Put some of my best moves on that wallpaper, you know.
Robert White, you're normally super efficient with your backdrop, but that is painful, mate. I don't know what that's about. I think you should get the grandkid one. Oh, no, that's worse. No, take that down. No, look like aliens. The aliens have landed.
Family, man.
Beautiful family affected by what they are wearing. Beautiful family affected by what they are wearing.
That's you should be reported. Robert, you should be reported. That's cruelty. Right. Rob, listen, we're talking about Jesse Lingard. He's dancing. The man is dancing.
Love him.
Down at West Ham. Surely he needs to be dancing back at the Theatre of Dreams.
I think the problem that he had was that he went through a hard time with his family over that last year, that period. And then you had a situation where we had Pogba and Fernandes in midfield.
Mm-hmm.
Jesse Lingard is like finding out where you're going to put him. You're not going to stick him out on the right wing. He's not a right winger unless you could put him there, but he's a midfield player. And
not a central midfield player, though.
Yeah, well, he can go out wide, but he does play midfield, you know, and he would have had to have stayed there and be like a squad player. And I think he wants to be a starter. He's a first-team starter. So the best thing for him to have done was what he did and went out on loan to West Ham and put himself in the shop window. And also, you got the Euros coming up, and I think he wanted to be a part of that. So, you know, I have to say, yeah, he done good. And I think what will happen is that United, I don't want to upset the West Ham fans, but United should do a deal and try and get Declan Rice and part exchange him. I think that might be I think that would happen. And I'm hearing you guys talk about about Harry Kane. Listen, United's problem is not scoring goals. If you look at when Man City won the Premier League, they scored 76 goals and they conceded 29. United scored 70 goals and conceded 42. Our problem is the amount of goals we're letting in. You know, and so we got priorities, and just like Troy said, we need a centre half and we need a midfield player. Those are the priorities we need. Getting Harry Kane is like buying whiskey and buying the top quality whiskey and pouring it into a leaking bucket. You need to seal that bucket, and that's what we need to focus on at the moment. Try and get a squad. We can spend the money better on getting a midfield player and a centre half.
Okay, you're talking about fine whiskey, Robert, but then you call the name Declan Rice.
But Declan Rice is one of the
Rice at Man United. Declan Rice.
Hey, mind yourself, man. Mind yourself.
Easy, Benny Butterfingers.
Mind yourself, bro. Yeah, keep on dissing my team, innit? Stop dissing my team, bro.
Listen, last season, I wanted the midfield player that Arsenal ended up getting. What was his name?
Party Animal.
Partey was the one that I thought we should have gone for.
Why?
Instead of Van der Beek, because he's a better fit than Van der Beek. Van der Beek weren't going to get a game. Who were we going to drop to play Van der Beek?
He's a good player.
He's not a defensive midfield player.
Why are you giving the guy a label?
No, I'm telling you. I don't think Ollie bought him. I reckon.
But if he's not that, why play him there? Play him in advance role.
We don't play him there. Yeah, then who do you drop? You drop Pogba or do you drop Fernandes?
That's not my problem. But you're putting a square thing in a round hole. You can't do it.
I'm
play the man where he's supposed to play, and you see value. You know what I mean?
You're telling me something that we're not doing. We're not playing defensive. We're not playing defensive.
West Ham man trying to tell Man United man how to play football and pick team, you know.
That's right. Hey, football's football, mate. You know what I mean?
Anyway, Van der Beek.
Butterfinger's got a point. Butterfinger's got a point.
Oi, mind yourself. I tell you already. Trev, jump over, man. We can do it.
No, but you got a point, Benny. Benny, you have a point. You have a point.
You know, I'll tie you up, bro.
No. Whoever said, I don't think Van der Beek was signed by Ollie, I agree with. You've waited. There's £40 million been wasted on a player that was never going to shift Bruno Fernandes, was never going to settle in a midfield position.
He shifted Jesse Lingard.
Exactly.
Well, he hasn't shifted Jesse Lingard because he's played about 2 minutes of Premier League football. You know, and if you come in at 40, other managers would have been ostracized for that signing. Other managers would have been slaughtered for spending 40 mil and not playing, you know, a player of that reputation. Ollie's got away with that. I think he's got away with his lack of use.
I don't think he wanted him. I think it was.
No, I agree. Yeah, I agree. He probably didn't want him. Yeah.
Yeah, we needed a defensive midfield player.
Tricky Nicky says sell Van der Beek and take back Lingard and Rice.
No.
Oh.
Not happening. No, not happening, mate.
Yeah.
We don't want that. But
Robert,
we're not going to get.
Robert, what's the situation then? We've been talking about transfers. West Ham seems to manage, have an idea how. What say you about the incoming players at Man United? Who would you want to see? Let's forget about the fantasy. Who would you want to see? Centre half, controlling midfielder, or a striker?
Well, there's talk about Varane as the centre half, but we need someone next to Maguire. That's what we need. We need someone commanding that can organise.
Ernie doesn't want Maguire, full stop.
I can't take this Maguire team. We need someone next to Maguire.
Listen, there's nothing we can do about it. We've got him. So what are you going to do?
You man, that is a too sport, man. You're too sport, man.
Order.
Let Robert with the backdrop talk.
Maguire needs a partner. That's what we need. Lindelof is just not it. He's just too weak, and we need someone that can organise the back, someone with experience. And I think if we got a good centre half and a good midfielder, I mean, you guys were talking about Bissoma earlier, yeah, and I think he's a talent. He's a good talent we could have. You want someone that can be next to Pogba, so we can have two midfield players that can go forward. At the moment, midfield players that we got, they're just not good enough.
But Suma's in the Manchester United. You're playing Champions League next season. He goes straight in. He goes straight in at Man United into your central midfield.
Yeah. I could see him doing it. He's a good player. He's a talent.
Very good player.
There'll be several people up for it. I've got to ask Robert a question based on what you're saying. Who's your number one goalkeeper at the start of the new season?
It's got to be De Gea. He's not sure. Henderson's not ready. Henderson's not ready. Henderson is just not ready. Yeah?
You know what?
I mean,
Henderson
is not ready.
He's like a goalkeeper. Britannia all the way.
He's not ready.
Not yet.
He's not ready. He's not ready. Yeah, but he's still not ready for the number one spot.
Listen to the goalkeeper.
That's right. It's good. Listen, he stopped Sheffield United going down. That's what happened there.
Yeah, but we don't want to stop. We don't want a goalkeeper to stop from going down. We want a goalkeeper to win us the Champions League.
Well, listen,
that's what we want.
I don't know what you're talking about. Man United, all right. You finish second, you can't win every time. And then them guys are good at the back.
All right.
What's the matter with you?
We've got a Europa Cup final coming up. De Gea should be in that.
Shouldn't even be in that.
The goal should be in goal.
Who shouldn't be in the Europa League? Who shouldn't be in the Europa League, Troy?
Man United. They failed in the Champions League.
It
You should
should be
not
that.
be rewarded for failing in the Champions League.
Yeah, but there's
That's
loads of
right.
teams. There's loads of teams.
Murder train. Murder train. That's right.
They should not be rewarded.
Troy.
And then celebrate
That's
like,
right.
like they've achieved something.
Get lost. Don't get out. Go on, man.
Don't blame us, blame the system. But we're in it. Don't blame us, blame the system. We're in it, so that's what we can say.
Yeah, typical Man United, isn't it? Shut up. You know what I mean?
Hey, Robert,
Think about it. Liverpool could be in the Europa League if things go north and south on Sunday. They could be playing in the Europa.
They don't deserve it either. They don't deserve it either. They don't deserve it.
I agree with you, Ben Roy. If we go to Europa, we don't even deserve that. I agree with you.
You don't deserve it, mate. You got to start again.
I think West Ham should have that. Just give it to West Ham. I don't want to play Thursday night.
I don't think we.
I got a radio show on a Thursday night. I don't want to be doing no Thursday nights. I don't have. Robert, Ernie, Ernie mentioned about sugarcane. Seriously, doesn't matter. Does it really matter how much money it costs the Manchester United board to bring in arguably the best striker in Europe up front for Man United? You have a problem with a goalkeeping situation. Yes, you have a problem with a centre-half situation. Yes, you have a problem with midfield. But this guy surely will win you trophies. Would you take him?
I think the amount of money that Levy's going to want for him, he only just signed a contract.
How much do you reckon?
I reckon it's going to be over 100 million.
It's nothing. It's Man United.
Listen, he's 28. Yeah, and what we want to know: do you think he's hit his peak yet, or not?
No.
Yeah,
I think he's come to that.
That's the question you want to ask. And the other thing that I look at is that how long do you see a striker in the Premier League lasting? Because the Premier League is one of the hardest leagues to play in. Longevity. And
Aguero's done it. Aguero's done it till he's 33.
Yeah, but Aguero's
done it till he was what, 34?
He's South American.
Look.
What's that got to do with it, Ernie? What do you mean? He eats his Weetabix. What's the problem?
Kane has been
playing. Sugar Strange's ankle goes every year. His ankle popped down. Too much chips.
Yep. I think Kane has been playing like 10 years, right?
You say Kane's injured every season, and you're absolutely right. Still scores 20 plus goals a season.
It does. But this is my point with it all, right? He's been playing in this league for 10 years. If we had a team at United where we had a solid defense, a solid midfield, I say no problem. Go and get Kane. We can afford to get him because he's got a platform to work on. He's got a foundation to work with. But at the moment, we ain't got that foundation, and we need to get our foundation right. You know, we can't go about
foundation. You're second in the league. We're talking about foundation. You're second in the league. What foundation are you talking about?
He conceded 42 goals.
Wait, listen, you're second in the. Fair enough, but you're second in the league. You're second in the league. What's the problem?
I celebrate that.
Oh my God, man! I tell you, Man United are so fussy. It's unbelievable. I tell you, you're a disgrace.
Trevor,
I've been asked a question. I'm trying to answer a question here.
Okay, I'm going to ask Trevor a question after that.
I ain't got a complaint. I'm trying to answer a question. Yeah, and the answer to that question is we do need that foundation. We do need to have a solid defense, solid midfield before we can say, yeah, go out and get a player like Harry Kane that's going to score. Our problem is not scoring goals. Our problem is conceding them.
Robert,
you know Man United. Trevor,
you know that centre half and quality midfield player that you want. That in today's world could cost you almost as much if you're talking about quality as paying for Harry Kane.
And that is my point.
Because you could still win a title at Man United because there's some foundations in place. You could still win a title by just scoring more goals, couldn't you not?
Not if we're conceding 42.
Just score more goals.
But score more goals.
No, listen to this. If you're conceding 42 goals, right, the problem is that you're spending a lot of time defending. You ain't got the platform going forward.
So
Harry Kane probably won't get the service he needs to be scoring all those goals.
Well, that's a different story. That's a
Yeah,
difference.
he probably won't get that. That's because we haven't got the defender and the midfield players that we need for having that foundation.
Are you guaranteed that Harry will do anything at Man United because he's been squared? Don't forget, Tottenham play a different system to Man United. You know? Yeah. Troy would tell you they won't purposely give him to score goals like that. You know, guys' reputations. You know? That's why the midfielders they got so much skill. That's why them guys are always offside because they take too long to deliver the ball.
Why do you
Simple.
think Harry Kane publicly come out and said, "I want to play with Kevin De Bruyne"?
That's right, because he plays the ball.
And that's the point I made earlier. He's already signalled where he wants to go because the same players that Robert's talking about, Man United don't possess De Bruyne and Gundogan.
Yeah. Guys, if Harry Kane goes,
They do possess, but they don't play the ball. Look at Drogba. Before he plays the ball forward, he's got to do a step over, track back. He's got to look good. Listen, play the ball forward. Stop messing that.
You're not going to win a Premier League with all due respect with McTominay and a Fred side by side.
No chance.
Oh, that's a different. That's a different kettle of fish.
But that's what I'm talking about.
Guys should be arrested. Them guys should be arrested.
Hey, listen. Hold on. It sounds like
guys should be arrested.
It sounds like Manchester United got some making up to do. Let me go back to West Ham.
We're still looking for the rest. Just bear that in mind.
All right.
Just bear that in mind.
We obviously we've got West Ham fans on here. So we're going to ask Ben Roy and Trevor. Let's start with Trevor. You talk about this Europe. What would you like to actually see coming at West Ham? Because there could be a movement of people with David Moyes, what he's done so far. If he has a few signings, right? Who would you like to see over at West Ham? Who are the potential signings that has been earmarked to be coming to West Ham? Starting with Trevor.
Pereira from West Brom will be good for us. Good signing in the midfield. Midfield's been great this year with Souček and Lingard. That's been perfect. That's fine. Talks to Tammy Abraham. We've already discussed him as well. Not sure who we could possibly go for with the funds that we have. Again, we will need to build from the academy and upwards and loan signings. Loan signing, great fan of Giroud. I thought Giroud would have done great for us after he left Arsenal. That never happened. Great on the bench. Great for corners. Yeah, last minute sub. He's still out there. There's a couple of players, but we need to wait and see. Wanted Aguero personally, but that's not going to happen. Yeah,
I don't want much, Trevor. Do you?
Trevor, is there any youths from the academy?
You had Ben Johnson playing for a little while. He was on the left. He came on for a little while. He was doing really, really well. Again, I think it's just a bit of time for him. That's the only one I've seen recently that's coming through. It's doing really well.
Connor Coventry, centre midfield player. My mate's son. He's spoken highly of the Republic of Ireland international now. He's been on the bench the last couple of games.
Who's that for West Ham?
Yeah.
And I know he's not new, but I tell you what, you got a good player then, in my opinion, in Ben Rama. I know he hasn't always got the opportunities, but
if you look at that goal we scored against Brighton, how vital could that be for that 1 point? And it's proven that every time he starts Benrahma, our win rate is improved, our possession's improved, the whole game's improved. And I think tactically, Moyes has got it wrong a few times in the latter part of this year, which is I'm not going to say it's cost us, but you can see. I mean, the Brighton game, Brighton were 16th, 17th, 2 strikers missing, and we did nothing. We didn't make no changes in the last 20 minutes. We just let it go and we played for the point. Benrahma scored his first goal. First goal for West Ham and built his confidence up. And that could be a massive point which we'll need on Sunday.
Sunday Shiny says, Aguero at West Ham. Trevor, you're smoking something. Who would you like to see over at I thought that Giroud call was absolutely
That's a great shout.
That's a great shout. Who do you see? Really seriously, no jokes. Who would you like to see? And who do you think potentially could come in at West Ham?
I like to go for Sissoko for Tottenham. Centre midfield. We need legs. Get rid of what's his name? Get rid of retiring.
Noble.
Yeah, get retired. Yeah, we keep on doing favours.
I think
keep on doing favours
this season, though, Ben. Right? I think after this Sunday, Noble's done as a player at West Ham.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is he shouldn't have really played them to have so many minutes. We need legs in the midfield. It showed to us we bought Lingard. We look a different team because we got legs. People running. Football's a running game. It's not about experience and you stand there and watch where the ball's going to bounce. No way. You got to run for 90 minutes. When you're finished, you get off, come back on. But Sissoko, I think we should go for him. And Danny Welbeck up front.
Welbeck.
Welbeck.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, what, ahead of Tammy Abraham?
They couldn't afford to have Danny Welbeck and have so many injuries. Unfortunately, Danny Welbeck is on the other side of where injuries hit him, and he's unfortunate. He really is unfortunate. But he done his hamstring in the last game.
Exactly,
he gets injured too much.
And Titi, you could say exactly the same thing for Mikel Antonio, who's been fantastic for West Ham.
Yeah,
but you can't rely on his body.
Susceptible. Yeah.
So if you have a Welbeck Antonio, when it's good, but then they're missing.
Yeah. I
but that's when they should bring.
But you know what? As well,
they should bring a young boy through, and they got to start nurturing these guys to come through. If you don't play guys, how are you going to get experience?
No, they haven't got any young forwards. They haven't got any young forwards. They haven't got any young forwards that are good enough. They're not good enough.
Well, get rid of them, then, innit? Get rid of them. What they do?
Listen, what I was going to say is something we haven't mentioned is that there's a Euros this year.
Yeah.
And with the Euros, you all of a sudden you find players that no one ever knew come out and have a great Euros. Yeah. And then all of a sudden people start going, oh yeah, we'll have him and we'll buy him. So keep an eye out for the Euros as well, because when it does leak and it's in this country, you could hijack a couple of men from the Euros and get them cheap. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Let me ask a quick question. I'm at Brentford Bournemouth tomorrow, the second leg of the Championship playoff.
I know what you're going to say.
What's your view, Ivan Toney? Tell me, talk to me. What do you think?
Yeah, listen, I think if Brentford don't go up, Brentford are
take a chance.
They're gonna sell it like they've done with Watkins, like they've done with Ben Rama. They've got a £40 million striker there. You can't keep him in the you can't keep him in the Championship.
Yeah,
you
West
can't
Ham.
keep him. He didn't. You know, he didn't. He didn't do it at Newcastle, but what he's done is he's gone down the leagues, proved himself to the point now where if he gets the goals that takes Brentford into the Premier League, he'll stay. But if he doesn't, I can see Brentford cashing in again because they do so well in terms of replacements that, you know, he'll be 40 mil, but he'll be a good 40 mil and worth 40 mil.
Could you see him? Could you see him at West Ham? Could you see him at Palace?
West Ham. West Ham with Rama.
I don't think Palace would gamble on a 40 million pound striker. I don't think Palace could do that because that would be their budget. And Palace can't afford to do their budget. I tell you, this is strange, but you see Newcastle, I know they made the mistake in letting him go and you know, not really giving him an opportunity. But Joe Linton has been probably one of their worst signings in recent years.
It's probably one of the worst signings of the whole season.
So
he should be arrested.
If they could get 15 mil, and remember they paid 40 mil for him. Rafa Benitez didn't want him. That was the thing that was Rafa Benitez said, you know what, I'm leaving because if you're signing him, I've got no chance. And it's been proven. If they could get 15 mil, I don't know, back abroad again, and then buck up the signing, then maybe they could bring Ivan Toney back to the club if he wants to go. But he's another one that suits a West Ham. He suits he does suit a Palace in a sense, but I don't think Palace will have the money to buy him unless Wolf goes, to be totally honest.
So Van der Beek is not the greatest flop then. It's got to be Joe Linton then, isn't it?
No, Joe Linton's more. Well, the thing is, Joe Linton has had more game time than Van der Beek to be a flop. And he's an absolute flop.
Actually, Troy, Kai Havertz, the biggest flop of all time.
Well, you can't say that. I mean, I must admit, I'm with you, Robbo. I'm not sure they knew what they were buying.
Oh, he's a flop.
But he still scored, you know, in the last couple of games, he scored crucial goals.
Yeah, in the FA Cup, he scored some goals.
Yeah, so
6 goals, though.
I know, but I don't think he could be as much of a flop as Joe Linton.
I've got another one. TT, why did Josh King go to Everton?
Great shout. I haven't got a clue. This guy was on the verge of signing for Man United last season.
Absolutely.
You know, to be a backup or whatever else. And all of a sudden he's gone to Everton to come on in every game close to the 90th minute.
And the funny thing is,
I don't understand it.
He had a choice of going to Everton or Fulham. Do you remember? On transfer.
Yeah.
And he chose Everton. He chose an Everton team that had Calvert-Lewin firing. Yeah. And a Richarlison that we know is a talent.
Yeah.
At least at Fulham, he would have started the game, surely.
Yeah, but Rodney, he thought he would have. Listen, Everton, Champions League, that's what he was dreaming of, bro.
No, it's a loan signing. So he was just there to play for the season, wasn't he? And he chose it, and he comes on every.
Yeah, but impress Ancelotti and you're in, son. Get your boots on.
That one really shocked me.
It was a surprising one.
He could have played start games and sort himself out. But strange.
Listen, I think there's been a number of signings this season that people expected. I mean, we've not even mentioned Timo Werner at the moment, and you know, he looks like he can't hit a barn door.
How many goals have he scored? Is it only 6 as well?
It's not many. It's not
Tammy,
many. He gets himself in some really good positions.
Goal scorer, right?
Exactly. Timo Werner gets himself in some really good positions, but he doesn't seem a confident lad. It may work for him next season. It may work for Hazard next season, because obviously once Tuchel gets really into the detail of what he wants to do, then he may be, you know. But yeah, I've just seen that shout. Joe Linton should be arrested.
That's right. Nice Master Blaster.
Hey, but seriously, that question about the worst signing this year. I mean, I'm sorry, my call is Havertz, and I'm saying this season.
I understand what you're saying, Robert, but we've still got the Champions League to go, and Chelsea's woes, and it could still land them with a Champions League title, and he could score the winner or an assist. So I see your point, but Chelsea aren't done just yet.
But look at the money. Look at the money they spent on Havertz, bro.
Yeah, but that's
a lot of money.
A lot of dough, bro. A lot of dough.
They bought Havertz, Werner, and Ziyech for about 150 million altogether. That's what Chelsea do.
It's a lot of money, bro.
Yeah, but sometimes.
But they bought 3 players, right, for 150 mil, and Daniel Levy want to sell us Sugar Strain for 150 mil. I'll take them 3 players.
The difference between the 3 players and Harry Kane. Harry Kane is a proven goal scorer in this division.
By the way, and the disrespect to Harry Kane and his worth, you know, and the disrespect to Mourinho, to be totally honest, because Mourinho's given Harry Kane his best numbers collectively, goals and assists collectively, and people still want to discuss Mourinho and still want to discuss what Harry Kane's worth is. Harry Kane guarantees you goals. Harry Kane is like no other centre forward in the Premier League at the current space. Could potentially actually go to Real Madrid or Barcelona, but they ain't got no money. So he knows he has to ply his trade in the Premier League, and he also wants that share of record. There's one club that could give him the basis of that share of record, and that is Manchester City, full stop. So whilst Chelsea want to talk about him, Levy's not selling nobody to Chelsea, by the way. He will begrudgingly sell to Man City if he gets his money. He will not boost Chelsea's coffers by giving him Harry Kane, because he knows that means Spurs go further back than anything else. So when you say you're helping Man City, well, actually, Man City, they don't really need anybody's help. Do you know what I mean? Because Pep has played with the league for the last 5 games and still 10 points clear. He's played with the league because he's got a bigger picture now that he wants to complete the Champions League as well. So Harry Kane would benefit that team, and there can be no disrespect for that guy. His body is a little bit brittle as well, to be totally honest. He's always got an ankle injury in him that will take him out for 6 weeks.
Ernie said it's chips. Ernie said it's chips.
He gets kicked. He gets kicked, bro.
His numbers put him on a platform that no other can match.
You're right about the brittle body, TT. But he'll go away for 1 game, 15, and he will still score 20 plus goals in the same.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
Troy, question for you, Troy. Harry Kane goes to Man City. Do you think Man City will wrap up the Premier League for the next 2 to 3 years?
Absolutely. I don't think anyone could touch Man City. To be fair, you know, Liverpool did well last season, and you know, but I think that hurt Pep, and I don't think Pep wants that to happen again. So I think Pep wants to be dominant. Not only, this is the thing, he'll be dominant in England, but he'll also be dominant in Europe now, because Harry Kane would make them that. I know they've reached the Champions League final this year, but it's the first time in a long while. And I think Harry Kane will be the kind of player that gets them over the line. Don't forget, they've made probably the best signing this season in Ruben Diaz, by the way. So Ruben Diaz is now that where you know, Rob is talking about, you know, Man United's defense. You know, Ruben Diaz is the one that has finally come in and said they can forget Vincent Kompany in a sense. So all of a sudden now, what Diaz has done is up John Stones' quality now. So now John Stones looks like an England international again.
Again.
Laporte can't get in the team, but you'd have him anywhere else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they've even got the left back Zinchenko, who I don't think's a very good player, but Pep has put his levels up where he can even take the piss and say, go and spend some time in centre mid. So what I'm saying with him, he's created this squad that they're all competitive. And when you've got your opportunity, take it. Look at Sterling at the moment. Right. Sterling ain't playing football.
Don't say that too loud. Don't say that too loud in front of Ernie.
Sterling will not start the Champions League final. But if he comes on, prove yourself where it is. And as I said, TT's absolutely spot on. And the supply line to Harry Kane, if he goes to City, is phenomenal.
Yeah.
From Bruyne, Gundogan, Foden, Rodri, etc.
Off the scale. Young Torres, off the scale.
Hey, but guys, don't we have to? I mean, if this season was something to prove to go by, especially with obviously the situation we suffered at Liverpool, injuries played a big part of this season.
You can't deny that.
And I say that again as a Liverpool fan, and injuries stuffed Liverpool's right down the middle. Spine, as Klopp would say, the spine was broken. Could that possibly be the same next season with the top teams like Man United and Man City? Because we're going to have to spend well. Teams are going to really have to spend well, and there's no money to spend.
There's no money to spend, and also a good percentage of the players are taking part in European competition this summer. So you're going to have a lot of tired players coming back to some key clubs. So it's going to be August when the season starts again. It's going to be so interesting.
And we got the Cup of Nations. We got the Cup of Nations to deal with as well.
Let's remember as well. We've literally had a season, an end of last season, and this season back to back. So these players have had no rest, and then become susceptible to the injuries that you're talking about, Robbo. But again, the best team that's probably better equipped to deal with that is Manchester City. They've spent a long time without De Bruyne. Forget Aguero. He's only made little bit part appearances. He even says, do you know what? I'm not even going to play with a centre forward today. So Jesus, can you sit on the bench, please? Because I don't need no centre forward. He has got the best squad that will equip their team for the demands of the English game.
But that's
Europe.
a manager. That's a manager will express himself. That's what that is.
He's the best in the world. He's the best in the world.
He's got the players. They're not cheap players, though.
No,
but you can't just say have the players. You can't just say, Robbo, you can't just say have the players.
Yeah,
You've got to mold those players. They've got to work for each other. They've got to understand that they're not going to play 38 games a season. You know what I mean? You've got to understand that some of you might only be playing in the FA Cup. You might just play in the Carabao and contribute to what we do in the league. So it's not just about having the best players. How many teams have had the best players and not even qualified for Europe?
Man United for 8 years.
Liverpool for 30.
Have a listen to him who won one Premiership in 30 years. Have a listen.
Anyway, I know I was going to... Listen, Troy, I knew you were going to drag us down there. Listen, tomorrow you can catch the show. Listen, guys, you can catch the show tomorrow, 11 a.m. till 12. It's a cut-down version of the show. Yanga TV, Sky Channel 186. So please... listen, watch back the show, listen to biased nonsense from Ben Roy. Free Sat 171, Free View 264, Gentle, Meek and Mild, Trevor's Nonsense, Robert the Superfan, and the fire burning ever, Troy Townsend. Guys, it's been real. Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Daddy Ernie. We'll be back next week. Listen, we are going for a Champions League special. I won't tell you who's on the show next week. But we have a special Champions League guest on the show. But guys, thank you for coming up. It's been the Fixture List. Good night.
Thank you. Pleasure. See you later, guys. Take care. See you later.
Nice one.
Later, Troy.
Laters, B.